The last time they left the hallowed grounds at Ohio Stadium, it was just after defeating their arch nemesis and just prior to making their historic national championship run. MarkRogersTV highlighting the Ohio State spring game. The play on the field was just a little less intense than against the University of Michigan, but it was on a big stage. Almost 100,000 people packed the chute, just 99,521, something like that, just a couple hundred people less than 100,000. That's an all-time record in spring football anywhere. Just about 100,000 people. But before they hit the field to actually play scrimmage, I'm not going to call it a spring game. It was more of a scrimmage. Coaches on the field, redoing plays, that sort of thing, attempting several field goals back to back to back to back. They, of course, lined up two players surrounded by their teammates inside the Block O to face off in the Block O drill. Man on man, who's tougher? Who can push the other outside the Block O? Now, every football team does this in some type of manner, but for some reason it's become legendary at Ohio State. Urban Meyer has taken it to another level. We've seen some serious tussles in this one. Much less physical this time around. He didn't want to get guys hurt. So it wasn't quite as physical. They let guys engage. They went at it. They wrestled a little bit. But it wasn't a death match as it's been in the past. It used to be they would let them fight and tussle until somebody got knocked out of that Block O. But it was a little less intense. They let them engage for 10 or 15 seconds. Then they would break it up. Okay, no tackling or not a whole lot of tackling in this game. Of course, they put the black shirt on the quarterback, Cardale Jones, which brings us to the quarterback competition, which is a no competition at this point. Cardale Jones is getting the reps. Nobody else is getting the reps. J.T. Barrett still has the ankle. Braxton Miller still has the shoulder. And J.T. Barrett, we saw him throw the football at halftime in the quarterback skills competition, and we saw Cardale Jones heave it 72 yards. We also saw Troy Smith, 2006 Heisman Trophy winner, gun it 69 yards. That was pretty impressive. So the one thing Urban Meyer did say before the game is that he wanted to see, besides nobody get hurt, he was pretty generic in his comments, typical coach speak about effort and competition and getting a look and getting reps. Made the point, though, that Devin Smith, who will go down as a legendary receiver at Ohio State, certainly not for his first 3 years, but what he did down the stretch, and really a big play wide receiver for his entire career with the Buckeyes, replacing him. As Urban Meyer said it, we need to find a guy that can blow the top off a defense. And in Devin Smith's case, it was at 27 yards per reception. Who can take the top off the defense? Would it be Noah Brown? Coaches have said during the end of the spring session here that Noah Brown had the most impressive spring season of anybody. Not just anybody with Ohio State, but with anybody that they've seen or can imagine somebody having a spring. We saw Noah Brown get one carry against Alabama in the Sugar Bowl. And I checked the roster because I thought, I haven't seen this kid play the entire season. And sure enough, that was his one carry of the season. They put him in against Alabama with a game on the line and run a jet sweep or fly sweep. Don't remember if it was handed or pitched to him for about a 5-yard gain. So Noah Brown, he's a big frame, thick kid. He's lost some weight. To improve the athleticism and the speed, he made a one-handed catch. Noah Brown, look out for him, number 80. Corey Smith, Jalen Marshall, two players that were prominent in the national championship season, may be asked to do more in the Devin Smith mode this season. They're two of the candidates as well. Curtis Samuel, they definitely are looking to get him the football. He backed up Ezekiel Elliott last season, ran for 383 yards and 6 touchdowns. And they tried so desperately to get him the football. He was in the slot. They threw him the first pass of the game, like the third pass of the game, and over. And for some reason, he and Cardale Jones are just not on the same page. He looked like a complete butcher trying to catch 2 passes. But he's a special player and a really explosive player who had that big season last year as a freshman. So he's a good football player, but he did look bad trying to handle a couple passes from Cardale Jones, who threw a really bad pick in the game as well. And also, the final square off, going back to the Block O drill, was Cardale Jones against Stephen Collier, who is right now actively the second-string quarterback. He'll drop back down to 4th. Kid out of Georgia who wrestled Cardale Jones pretty well there in the Block O, pretty much to a standoff. So that's what I saw on offense out of this football team. Number 19, Gareon Conley, top recruit in 2013, number 7 rated cornerback out of high school. He was prominent in this game as well. Looked really good covering receivers downfield and breaking up passes for the Ohio State Buckeyes. Number 34, Nick Connor, had an interception, a couple pass breakups. He's an early enrollee, 4-star recruit out of Columbus. He played well. The Ohio State defensive line, one of the best in college football last season and really strong down the stretch. We all know about Joey Bosa and to a lesser degree Adolphus Washington. They, of course, lose Michael Bennett to the NFL draft. They pretty much played with a 6-man rotation last year, and although that they were incredible and the kids really played, really showed stamina, including Bosa in particular, who played like 90% of the snaps, they would like to make it an 8-man rotation, not just a 6-man rotation. Keep an eye, again, Adolphus Washington's gained a little bit of weight. They're going to move him inside to defensive tackle. Tommy Schutt was the 9th-rated defensive tackle coming out of high school in 2012. They need a strong final season from him. He's had a nice career at Ohio State, but not an outstanding career, not living up to the recruiting rankings. Sam Hubbard played well. Got into the backfield a number of times. Tyvis Powell, he had the interception. Tyvis Powell did against Cardale Jones. Of course, Tyvis Powell saved the Michigan game 2 years ago in Ann Arbor, the 42-41 nail-biter. All right, that's what I've got on the Buckeyes. Scarlet and Gray, $100,000 at the shoe. I'd love to hear what you have to say right here on Mark Rogers TV.